a game, man!
Ah, yes, we've all been there before. This shit is more than a game, man. And now, these shirts are more than a game. But did you know that this merch wasn't made only for sportswear? No sirree. This shit more than a game is a lifestyle brand. You can wear the shirts for anything, such as going shopping, working out,
This shit more than a game!
doing chores, setting the mood,
Oh, yeah, that's that thing I like.
changing a tire, robbing a bank,
Go, 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 go!
jumping a Falcons fan, and so much more. So purchase your official This Shit More Than a Game merch today for the low starting point of $28.03 and let the world know this shit more than a game. Warning, please see a doctor if you feel you've gone too far with taking this shit more than a game. This Shit More Than a Game is not associated or licensed with any organization or entity except for John Bones LLC. This Shit More Than a Game is not responsible for any fights caused by the shirts. John Bones LLC does not promote or recommend violence of any kind unless it's at the expense of a Falcons fan.
Can't come into work today, boss. The NFL schedule's coming out. Hello? Grandma, I told you, don't call me today unless it's about the NFL schedule. I don't care if you have cancer. It's here, it's here! It's here, it's here! Wow, 2022 NFL schedule. I can't wait to go to none of the games because I can't afford it.
And welcome to a very late edition of the John O'Bones Show. I am sure by now that you all have saw the 2024 NFL schedule release. Hell, the Saints schedule came out around 1 o'clock by the time it was leaked. And shout out to my guy, John Hendricks, for having some damn good sources because he had that schedule out way before the official 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time official release from the NFL, which gave us a little bit of a head start on planning our content and all of the live streams. I'm sure I'm like number 11 in line of all the live streams and reaction videos you guys have already watched so far about not only the Saints schedule release, but the NFL schedule release in general. Or maybe you already got some of your travel plans already going on now that the schedule is finally officially released. I got my schedule plans and travel itinerary already on deck, man. I had already had my ticket to Kansas City on deck, but and this is crazy to me, y'all. Apparently, there's this thing you can do where, like, if you make a big purchase, it goes to a notification on your phone. So my wife apparently like set up her Chase account so whenever I use her credit card to go buy tickets for Saints Row game, she gets the notification now. So unfortunately, my purchase did not go through. I was ready to buy plane tickets and top of the line tickets so I could sit underneath. Well, not we. I mean, I'm getting it for her. I'm trying to be a good husband, and I'm treating her to the finer days in life. So I was trying to get her some tickets right under the suite where Taylor Swift is going to be in her suite to go watch the Saints and the Chiefs. And no, we might not win that game. Of course, the Chiefs are a way better team than us, but we get to see Patrick Mahomes live. We get to see above us Taylor Swift, and we get to spend time as a couple, man. But then she wants to nag me and try to dime me out on Twitter, and I don't get it. I thought I was a good husband. Like, okay, yes, I'm using your credit card, honey, but I keep telling her when my workers' comp comes from my bad back, I am going to pay her back. Forgive me for trying to be a goddamn good husband, man. Damn. And I also was trying to get my Dallas tickets together because y'all know my little brother Evan is a big Cowboys fan. So we are going to definitely, hopefully, if there's one win and over even the Falcons, Dennis Adams, you give me one win this season. Give it to me over the Dallas Cowboys so I can be in AT&T Stadium in Dallas in September acting a goddamn fool and yelling from the top of the rooftop that this shit more than the game and we can all dance on Evan's grave. But all jokes aside, the 2024 schedule has officially released, guys. And before we get into our reaction of the schedule, y'all know how we start off every John O'Bourne show. Leave a this shit more than the game in the chat right now so we can get the vibes of the 2024 season on the right track. I mean, I guess now that the schedule is out, it's the real deal, right? Like, what else is there to do besides maybe, we'll sign a cheap free agent or two in the second half of free agency, but it's go time now. Now it's mini camp, then it's training camp, then it's preseason, and then it's the real deal. Like, it's still a long ways away, which is actually good because it gives us time to get our health and our hearts in order for us to be on edge from September to January. But when that schedule comes out, that's basically saying it's go time. Like, the season is not officially here, but the season essentially is now really underway. All the teams already made their free agency picks. All the teams already made their significant draft and free agency picks is what I'm trying to say. We kind of know what the Saints are at this point going into 2024. We know what our division rivals look like. We know what the lay of the land in the AFC and the NFC looks like. Stink bastard, get the hell out of my goddamn show. Go do your Buccaneers reaction. And by the way, the Buccaneers schedule release video is one of the worst schedule release videos I have ever seen. We'll get to that later. But it's go time. It's go time. So we're going to react to the NFL schedule. And let's start off, of course, with the reason why I'm pretty sure 99% of my audience is here, and that is the New Orleans Saints 2024 schedule. Now, we knew long ago who our opponents were for the 2024 season. We just didn't know the exact dates. But now we have the exact dates. And here, unless you've been living under a rock for the past 8 hours, it's the official 2024 Saints schedule. And as you guys see, we open up in week 1 at noon against the Carolina Panthers, which, in my opinion, as bad or as jilted as the Saints fans are right now and how low pessimists these Saints fans have, I feel confident that we can still beat the Panthers. I think the Panthers are in an even worse spot than us. So that might be Dennis Allen's third straight 1-0 start to a football season. And we know that him going 1-0 does absolutely nothing because we still haven't made the playoffs in the past 3 years, yeah. But Dennis Allen has yet again another realistic shot to go 1-0 to start the season. And then this is a bit of a surprise to me. I didn't think we were going to get the Cowboys so soon, but we have the Dallas Cowboys in week 2. This is how far, if you ask me, guys, the Saints have fallen off as far as being a popular team. Dallas rarely, if ever, gets a 12 p.m. game. Dallas is always at minimum a 3:25 games because y'all know the networks left to bend over backwards for that goddamn Cowboys fan base. So the fact that Fox put the Saints and Cowboys game at 12 o'clock and they were like, yeah, we'll sacrifice Dallas because we don't care about the Saints. That tells me a lot about the Saints' appeal to the national audience. Now, of course, in our New Orleans bubble and our Louisiana bubble, we love the Saints, right? So we're going to take everything that the team does seriously and invest in. But I keep telling people, and sometimes I get a little pushback from it, but outside of our Louisiana bubble, people just don't give a shit about the New Orleans Saints right now. They just don't. Which is why for the third, I think, maybe even, we do not have a Sunday night game. If you look at the schedule, you will see there was no Sunday night game. For the third straight year, I believe, NBC has said, yeah, we want nothing to do with the New Orleans Saints led by Dennis Allen. And can you blame them? Folks, can you blame them? We haven't made the playoffs in 3 straight years. The Saints aren't necessarily what I would call an exciting team. So, yeah, NBC said, nah, we don't need the Saints on Sunday Night Football. Unless they're good, then we'll flex them. However, I will give the Saints credit. I'm a little bit surprised. ABC and ESPN gave us 2 Monday Night Football games. One against the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, that's obviously more for the Patrick Mahomes factor than the Saints factor, but that's still a Monday Night Football game. And we get the Green Bay Packers on December 23rd in that freezing cold weather. I'm sure the players are thrilled about that. Right before Christmas. That's going to be actually a fun game if you're visiting Green Bay. Like, you are really going to get to experience what they call the frozen tundra, because that is going to be an absolutely brutal game as far as weather conditions. And I'm glad that I am not a player and that I'll be watching it from my comfy home while eating some Christmas cookies and drinking some milk. But I am surprised. I did think we were going to get 1 Monday night game, but I'm surprised that we actually got 2. And what might be the game that every Saints fan is circling on their calendar is, of course, October 17th, when Sean Nathaniel Payton returns to the Superdome with his Denver Broncos to take the New Orleans Saints on Thursday Night Football. Now, this is, again, to me, another indictment of how unpopular the Saints are, because if the Saints were actually worth a damn, ESPN and NBC would have been fighting for that game to be a national primetime Sunday night or Monday night game. But maybe from the business aspect, the NFL, of course, has to make Amazon feel wanted as well. I mean, Amazon did pay the NFL over a billion, that's billion with a B, $1 billion for the Thursday night package. So they got to give them some sexy matchups. And even though the Saints and Broncos aren't necessarily great teams on paper right now, that's a sexy storyline with Sean Payton going to the Superdome for the first time. And of course, the big discourse throughout that whole week is going to be, will the Saints fans cheer or will the Saints fans boo Sean Payton? I'm not going to boo Sean Payton. I'm sorry. I know that some fans are jilted at the way he left us, but the man bought us a goddamn Super Bowl. So he's always going to have my love and empathy. But we got Thursday Night Football, Saints Broncos. I guess the good thing about it being a Thursday night game is that all eyes will be on that game. There's no other competing 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock games. No games to recap from the day before, like when you're playing on Monday night, but people are still talking about the Sunday games. Thursday game is on its own. Now, granted, it's not the most popular day for football, and it's not usually the best matchups because of the short week factor, but all eyes and all talking points will be on the Saints and Broncos on that Thursday night, unless both teams are just shitty by October 17th and the national media won't give a damn. But there you go, guys. You guys see our 2024 schedule. I feel like this is where people start saying, hey, now let's do our record prediction. But I mean, I feel we already knew who our opponents were going into today. It's just that now we know the dates. And maybe the dates actually affect how you are going to make a record prediction, because there is one key factor in the schedule. And if you guys didn't notice it, look at that October stretch when we play the Chiefs, when we play the Bucks, and when we play the Broncos. We play the Chiefs on Monday night, and then we got the Buccaneers that Sunday at noon at the Dome, but on a short week. And then we got the Broncos that Thursday night again at the Dome. So thankfully we ain't got to travel. But that is 3 games in 10 days. That, I don't care if you're playing the 3 worst teams. 3 games in 10 days is a pretty critical thing that the schedule can flip a win or a loss. So that's actually my only complaint, is that the Saints have 3 games in 10 days in October, and I don't care if you're the greatest team in the world. To play 3 football games in 10 days is going to take an absolute lot out of your body. And the Saints are going to have to hope that we really start off strong, because if we don't, and then we got to face this 3-game in 10-day stretch, our season could be over by the end of that Broncos game, folks. I mean, look, we got the Panthers in week 1, which seems like a win on paper. But then you got the Cowboys, who everybody would argue, sadly, are a better team than us. The Eagles, definitely everybody will argue, is a better team than us. The Falcons, hit or miss. Obviously, with the Kirk Cousins addition, a lot of fans and a lot of national media think that they are now the top dog in the NFC South. We'll see. They always are going to be the Atlanta Falcons, so I will never give them that much love or that much hype. But some are saying, of course, that they will be the favorites in that game. Then, of course, the Chiefs, the best team in the league. So, I mean, that's a tough stretch, y'all. That is a tough stretch. The Buccaneers have had our number the past few years. It is a tough stretch. Dennis Allen, the heat is on. I mean, I feel like I said this last year, but the heat is on. Like, he's going to have to start off straight, or at worst, and this is going to be annoying as hell, but at worst, keep us in that 500 lane, because if, again, we go into that 3-game and 10-day stretch where we are below 500, it might be spooky hours, and it'll be hard. Well, I don't think Mickey's ever going to fire a head coach during his tenure mid-season, but the heat is on, man. I know people are going to look at the schedule and say, oh, we have the second easiest schedule behind the Falcons. That's true, and that's not true. We only have a quote-unquote easy schedule because we play the NFC South teams 6 times. Thus, it makes our schedule look a lot easier than what it actually might be, because, of course, we know the NFC South for the past 2 years has been absolutely pathetic. But that schedule doesn't look easy to me, and some of these quarterbacks we got to face this year, including Patrick Mahomes, including Kirk Cousins, hate him or love him, he's a good quarterback, including Matt Stafford, including Jordan Love, he's a real deal, Holyfield now, including Jalen Hurts, including Dak Prescott. Get your Dak Prescott jokes off all you want. He does his thing in the regular season, including Justin Herbert, including Deshaun Watson, maybe even Jaden Daniels. Looks like it's going to be a pretty tough schedule in my eyes. So I haven't wavered. I've always said going into this season that I felt we were in that 7-9 window still, not predicting 7-9. You can't be 7-9 anymore. That's 17 games. But I feel that we're going to be our floor is 7 wins and our ceiling is 9 wins. Let me know in the comments now, what do you guys think? What is your record prediction for the New Orleans Saints now that you see the schedule and now that you see how the schedule is kind of aligning with who we play and when we play them? Like a Green Bay game in September, and this is probably stupid to say after what the Green Bay Packers did to us last year, but a Green Bay game in September is a lot more feasible to think that you're going to win rather than a Green Bay game in December, literally 2 days before Christmas when it's freezing cold. However, I will argue the Saints have actually been a pretty good outdoor team lately. Like, quiet as it's kept, the Saints are actually, sometimes it feels like better outdoors than they are. I'm talking about like in cold weather. They're better in cold weather than they are actually in the regular lovable temperatures that the players and the fans prefer to watch football in. So they actually might do well. We played the Browns 2 years ago in like -4-degree weather, and we whooped the Browns' ass. So maybe us playing the Packers in that frozen weather is actually going to be good for us. We'll see. We'll see. Ziggy cannot join the show tonight, but he says we won 9 games last year. So y'all saying we're going to regress? A lot of fans are saying that, Ziggy. Yes, and our schedule, if you ask me. Now it's early. You know, like you never know when you're going to catch a team that their starting quarterback might be out, right? Like you never know when you're going to catch a team during the season as the in-season flow is going on. You might catch a team that has a lot of bad injury luck one week and that, what seemed like a loss is now going to be a win. So it's obviously always idiotic to predict how a season is going to go in May, but it's fun. And that's what we do on the John O'Born Show. We have fun. But Ziggy, of course, is saying that we shouldn't be negative and that the future is bright, like he always says. My guy, Brute Saint, says another mid-season, a better offensive coordinator, but a tougher schedule than last year. Raven Sports Media says 10-7 and losing the wild card. If we go 10-7, Raven Sports Media, I'll actually give Dennis Allen his flowers. I would. If we made I'm not so sour on Dennis Allen that I cannot not give the man his credit. Like if he has us in the playoffs, I will give him his credit. But I said that last year. I said that in 2021 or 2022, and I said that in 2023. So, I mean, at what point, you keep saying shit aloud all the time, it ain't gonna make it any more truer. And Mikey says he's even more optimistic than Ziggy. He says 17-0, but I think Mikey's just off the high of the schedule release coming out. All that to say, I'm excited about the season as always because I'm always excited about football. It's the greatest sport, in my opinion, out there. And I love, at this point, all jokes aside, I really do enjoy traveling for road games. It's always great because I want to eventually cross off every opposing stadium that I got on my list. I want to see all 32 opposing stadiums. And it's always kind of fun to just see the what up, St. John? It's always fun to see the different aesthetic and a different atmosphere from different fan bases. Like Minnesota, that Karen aside, had one of the best game day atmospheres I've ever got to experience, had the best stadium that I've ever been in. And surprisingly, 99.9% of their fans were really cool, even though they hate the Saints for whatever reason. I'll give Atlanta credit. Their stadium is great. And when they were winning 26-10 2 years ago, when they thought that they had the game won, but of course the Falcons are going to Falcon, it was actually a cool atmosphere. Not in the moment because we were all pissed off, but they were doing it was like a club. It was like an Atlanta club. The fans were hyped up. They were swag surfing and all that stuff. It made it even better when we came back from behind and beat their ass. But that was fun. I enjoyed things like that. I went to Seattle when Drew Brees was out and Teddy Bridgewater was starting his first game, and the Seattle fans were real cool. But I guess this was one of those reap what you sow dance because they were all coming up to me and my wife saying, "Hey man, we're sorry about Drew Brees and how your season is about to go." Because everybody was like, "Oh, of course the Saints without Drew Brees, the season is about to go upside down." But of course, Teddy Bridgewater didn't let the Saints to 5 or 6 straight wins, and the Seattle fans had the biggest dick look on their face when we came into their stadium with Teddy Bridgewater and beat them. The fans were great though. It's still a valid debate on who's louder between us and Seattle fans. But I will say Seattle is definitely a worthy challenge as far as the loudest stadium And I look forward to going to Kansas City this year. That's my plan, to go to Kansas City and seeing if their hype is real and if their stadium is as loud as the hype is saying. Because I still, in my heart, and I might be a little biased, believe the Superdome is the loudest stadium out there. But I definitely want to give all 32 teams a fair shot, and I love going to road games. Hopefully some of you guys will be going to the road games, and y'all can chat it out with me if y'all see me out and about. But Kansas City, and like I say earlier, definitely Dallas, because we're going to be dancing on Evan's grave. We're going to be screaming from the top of Jerry World at this year more than the game, and we're going to give you guys amazing, amazing content this year. So I'm always excited about the schedule release, and I'm always excited whether the Saints are going to be a great team or whether the Saints are going to be the worst team in the league, to get the schedule, to look forward to my fall and winter plans, and to travel, not only to go watch the team in the Superdome, but to go watch road games now and just kind of fill out these other cities and other fan bases and whatnot. Let me catch up to some of y'all comments, and then we're talking more about the NFL schedule in general. I see my dude Corey says 8 and 9. No, I'm sorry, that's no to do. I'm sorry, I'm reading the name wrong. 8 and 9 will pick 15 and we'll draft another guard. Well, I guess Fuad gets the tackle. We are in purgatory. Same day every year, lady. I'd rather just bottom out. I absolutely agree with you, Nola Dupe. I absolutely agree with that. I've been saying that for the past year and a half now. Like, we're in the worst spot as a franchise. We're not good enough to make the playoffs, but we're not bad enough to get a top pick to give us some type of hope or excitement. We're just kind of floating around in that circle of mediocrity, and all it does is lead to 7, 8, 9 wins a year, but you don't get the playoffs. And when draft time comes, you don't even get to get the excitement of having the top 5, top 10 picks. So I agree. And I hate to say that, like, I'm not cheering for us to lose, but like, if say we start the season 1-4, 1-5, at that point, I will be saying just bottom out. Like, do not do no late half irrelevant run and go 8 and 9 to finish the season, and now you don't get a great draft pick, but you also don't make the playoffs. But you can say, hey, we fought strong, didn't we? What the hell does that have to do with anything? Like, what does that do for us as a future? So I agree with you 100%, Nola Dupe. And St. John, again, I will be plan to, if my wife stops tripping and let me use her credit card. I told her I'm going to pay her back. Like, I talked to my workers' comp today, actually, because I wanted to make sure I had my ducks in a row. They said that the check is coming in the mail real soon. It's coming in the mail real soon. I hope my wife hears. I hope she's watching this. So I'm trying to go to the Kansas City game, and I'm trying to go to the Dallas game, but I need to use her card if she just stops acting like a goddamn. But let's also get to talk about the Sunday night games, y'all. And I want to know, again, we're not just going to talk about the Saints schedule. It's going to be a short show, but we're going to also talk about the NFL schedule in general. And as you guys see, the Sunday night game, if you look real closely, there's a team's logo that is not on there, and that is the Fleur de Lis, which means the Saints, once again, do not have a Sunday night game. And that just goes to show you how far the national appeal of this team has dived since Sean Payton and Drew Brees has left. Like, when Sean Payton and Drew Brees was on our team, even during our worst 7-9 stretch years, you can guarantee we were going to get at least 4 primetime games, right? Like, Drew Brees and Sean Payton's offense was must-see TV. And then when we were actually good, when we were one of the best teams in the NFC, man, you had to count on 2 hands how many primetime games we were going to get. So the fact that for the past 3 years, I want to say now, I'm pretty sure I know we didn't get one last year, and I'm pretty sure we didn't get one the year before, and now this year, we have not had a Sunday night game. Just shows you how far Dennis Allen has sunken this team. And that's why when you're in mediocrityville, it sucks, because, like, even if we were bad, like if we had a top pick and drafted one of those high rookie quarterbacks, not Spencer Rattler, but like one of those hyped up ones, the networks would be like, okay, like the Bears ain't been shit the past few years, but they got Caleb Williams now. So NBC is like, yeah, well, they're not that good of a team, but they got Caleb Williams. We want to put them on. Like, you get a high draft pick, you get some excitement, you get some intrigue to your team. The Saints don't have anything right now. These networks are not lining up to watch Dennis Allen and Derek Carr. They're just not. I'm sorry, they're just not. We are a boring team. I say that even when we were 2-0 last year. I say we are a boring team. Now, I don't mind being a boring winning team, but right now we are a boring losing team. And be honest, like, even if you weren't a Saints fan, are you lining up to watch Derek Carr play quarterback? I'm not even as hard on Derek Carr as a lot of fans are, but like, he's not the most exciting player to watch. And Dennis Allen, there's no fun with him. Like, he doesn't have that aura or that swag that Sean Payton had. We are a boring team. I mean, we got Kamara, he's a superstar. Cam Jones is a superstar, but he's getting up there in age. Like, we don't have that much of an appealing team to NFL fan bases that don't live in New Orleans or Louisiana that they care enough to put us on Sunday Night Football. So I am not shocked. I am not shocked that we do not have a Sunday Night Football game this year. But looking at the slate of Sunday Night Football games, let me know in the comments of all of these games, what do you guys think is going to be the best Sunday Night Football game, or which game are you most looking forward to? I'm looking forward to that Chiefs and Falcons game because I hope that Patrick Mahomes makes the Falcons look like absolute fools on prime time. But I think looking at this set of games very early on, my number one pick would be the Bills versus the Ravens. That looks like a really good game. Or the Lions and the Texans could be a possible Super Bowl preview as well. So those two games really kind of stand out to me as the top two games that I'm definitely looking forward to on Sunday Night Football. And now let's talk about Monday Night Football, because I will say this, and I'm going to be honest, I'm a little surprised. I'm talking about how unattractive to the national media the Saints franchise is right now, but I will eat my words with this. We do have two Monday Night Football games. ESPN, for whatever reason, has been very kind to the Dennis Allen Saints and puts us on Monday Night Football at least once a year. This year, they're putting us on Monday Night Football twice a year. As you guys see, like I said earlier, we got the Chiefs on October 7th, and then we got the Green Bay Packers 2 days before Christmas in Green Bay, which means it's going to be absolutely freezing cold out there on December the 23rd. So Saints games aside, of course, we're all looking forward to those games. But besides that, if I look at this Monday Night Football game, the game that I would say I probably am most excited about going into this season would probably be, that Lions and 49ers game on December 30th is a really intriguing game, right? That game could possibly decide who's the number one seed in the NFC in week 17. So that game might be game of the year, possibly, actually. So that has to be the answer for any general sports fan, given the expectations for the Detroit Lions and the San Francisco 49ers this year. If they are as good as they think they are, or we think that they're going to be, that Lions and 49ers game on December 30th looks real good. I will say that Texans and Cowboys game is probably going to be fun too, because I feel like the Cowboys are going to take a step back this year. And if the Texans leap forward the way they did last year, it's going to be pretty fun to watch CJ Stroud whoop the Cowboys' ass in Dallas. And the Cowboys fans are going to be going through it that night. And if anything, we're going to get some great memes from that game if the Texans whip the Cowboys' ass. So I'm actually very much looking forward to that game. But what are your thoughts, y'all? What do you think is going to be the best matchup for the Monday night game? Not including, because I know most of my audience are Saints fans, not including Monday night. What do you think is going to be the best Monday night game? And of course, like I said, y'all, if anybody's new or has joined the channel since then, let me know, if you haven't already, what is your schedule, or what is your schedule prediction for the 2024 New Orleans Saints season? It's a tough schedule, y'all. It's a tough schedule. Now, hey, maybe the opposite happens. Maybe, last year we were all confident. We were all like, oh, this is going to be an easy schedule. We're going to cruise to the NFC South. Well, that didn't happen, right? So maybe now that we all are really sour on the New Orleans Saints, maybe also that we all feel like this is a very tough schedule, they're going to shock us and actually have a good season this year. You never know. One thing about those Saints is that you never know. But after the schedule has come out today, let me know in the chat, are you guys excited more now about the 2024 season? I am. Again, I love football. Like, I'm not saying, the Saints are going to be a great team now or anything like that, but I'm excited about what this. I like football. I like traveling. I like football. Love waking up on a Saturday night. On a Saturday morning, and those college football games on CBS. Well, I guess not. I guess CBS still, but not the SEC. But CBS and ABC are playing. I love waking up on Sundays, man, just watching football all day. I put my do not disturb sign on my door from September to January, man. On Sundays, do not bother me. On weekends, do not bother me. I'm watching football. And I love lately traveling with my wife, hopefully my family this year, to go watch the Saints on the road. And if anything, y'all know that Denzel Washington meme when him and Jamie Foxx was interviewing, and he was like, he lost the Oscar, but he took the food tray home, and he was like, I'm leaving here with something. When I go to road games, trust me, that's my attitude. I'm leaving here with something. Like the Saints might lose, but every road game I go to, trust me, guys, I'm leaving here with something. So I'm looking forward to hopefully, I don't want to guarantee I'm going to do it because, life gets in the way sometimes. But Kansas City and Dallas are the two games I have circled on my calendar to go travel to watch. And maybe even New York. That New York game in December looks sneaky good to go travel to. It depends on what my wife's credit card financial situation looks like in December. Because, we got to buy gifts for the family and all that good stuff, I guess. I guess the family deserves some gifts. But that New York Giants game in December, I think New York during the holiday season, y'all seen, if y'all true to the John Barnes channel and not new to the John Barnes channel, y'all know I'm a Christmas geek. So Christmas time in New York and going and watch the Saints play the Giants actually sounds real fun. It just depends on what my wife's credit card situation is looking like. So I'm looking forward to the season. I don't think we're going to be this great team or anything like that, but I do think it's going to be, if anything, y'all, look at this community that we've built. It's going to be fun to recap the games along the way, and we're either going to be yet into the top of the roof, fire Dennis Allen, and get rid of Derek Carr, or we're going to be shockingly celebrating and doing second lines. We'll see. We will see. Brute Saint says, I was right last year with 9-8. Now he has us at 8-9 this year. Let's see if he's a wizard. You're a wizard, Brute Saint. You're a wizard. And Jerry says, yeah, that's what I was thinking for. Thanks for the clarification, Jerry. He says ESPN and the ABC networks got the SEC now. Yeah. And CBS will now have the Big Ten games. I hope, Jerry, that CBS keeps the SEC theme song, one of the best football theme songs, period. I really, really hope so, because I love that theme song. Nola Dupe says, who do you give the advantage to in week 7? Sean Payne's revenge game with the rookie quarterback versus Dennis Allen. Defensive coordinator in the dome with the crowd. I think we will be a 3.5 favorite no matter what. Yeah, Nola Dupe. It will also depend on, obviously, we will have a lot more data on Bo Nix by then to see if he's the real deal. Well, not, it's going to be early to crown him or not crown him, but we'll know how he's looking to that point to know how confident we should feel. Because obviously, remember last year, you look at the schedule in May, you're like, oh man, the Texans with a rookie quarterback and CJ Stroud, that's a win. And CJ Stroud not only lit us up, he lit up the whole goddamn NFL. So maybe Bo Nix does that with Sean Payne's tutelage. Like I always say, Sean Payne can make me look like a good quarterback, right? So maybe Bo Nix is going to be his next Drew Brees. We'll see. In May, you can say, oh yeah, confidently, we're going to put Bo Nix on his ass and beat the Broncos' ass. But maybe Bo Nix is the real deal. We'll find out in October. I'm looking forward to that game, though. I am. I do think we're probably going to be the favorites unless Bo Nix goes out of his world in July, in the first week of the year of the season. I want to know, are the fans going to boo Sean Payne? I think a few fans will. And the Thursday night game is always tricky because it's a short week, so we'll see what the injury reports are looking like. And again, at that point, this is going to be our third game in 10 days. Our players' bodies are going to be going through it. So we might actually be at a very, very huge disadvantage at that point. I guess the Broncos are going to be on 11 games in 3 days, but still, mentally, we're going to have our team leaders tell the team, do not think about it as 3 games in 10 days. Just think about it 1 game at a time, 1 day at a time. Make sure y'all getting y'all rehab in. Make sure y'all getting y'all massages and chiropractors in because the team is going to need it. The team is absolutely going to need it. I'm looking forward to that game, though. I will say, if we're in a bad spot at that point going into that game and then Sean Payne wipes the floor with us in the Superdome, the cries for fire Dennis Allen is going to be – it's going to make what we did the past 2 seasons look like child's play. That's all I'll say. Brood also says the best thing about the Saints season is the Saints YouTube fan base. Y'all make everything tolerable. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. My community on Twitter, my community on the YouTube. Don't have quite that big of a community on Facebook and Instagram yet, but I'm working on it. But I love this community that I've created the past. Honestly, y'all, maybe I'm bad. To be honest, now that I think about it, I started doing the Saints content creation in 2021, and since then we haven't been shit. So maybe if I stop doing Saints content creation, the team will actually be worth a damn again. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the bad luck. I've been doing this since 2021, and since 2021, that's 3 straight years we haven't made the playoffs, and we've been in football hell. So maybe it's me. I would love. I'm still waiting for the day. I've been doing this for 4 years now, going into 4 years with the official release of the schedule today. there's got to be one day where I can finally do a playoff skit. There's got to be one day where I can finally do a playoff show with y'all, right? Like one day, it's got to be one day we could finally make that happen. All y'all been getting for the past 3 years is Jono ran about how much we suck, how much I hate the football guys. Sheesh. And I don't know if we're going to have any different script ending this upcoming season too, but that is why they play the game. Slim Salt says, Jono, we're going to need more of those skits to get us through another season with Dennis Allen. Y'all know I got y'all. I actually did I didn't even do a skit for the schedule release this year. I actually kind of did my own version of the Saints schedule reveal, because I will say, and I've said this last year, like I said, if you're true to the Jono Barnes channel and not new to the Jono Barnes channel, you know I love when the teams do their schedule reveal videos. And I've seen a few so far. I haven't been able to watch everyone yet, but I saw all 4 NFC South teams, that's for sure. And it pains me to say this. It absolutely pains me to say this, but I think the Falcons had the best schedule reveal video this season of the 4 NFC South teams. The Bucs one was horrible. I mean, it was cool if you're a Bucs fan, I guess, but it was like one of these sentimental hype videos. Like, I don't know, like schedule reveal videos, in my opinion, are supposed to be fun. Not supposed to be no sentimental, you know, like the Bucs video just put me to sleep. And like I say, I'm not a Bucs fan. So, I mean, they were going real niche with that and saying, we're going to just get the Bucs fans pulling at their heartstrings or whatnot. But geez, that shit was whack. And I hate to say it, but the Falcons was actually pretty good. I will actually rank it Falcons 1, Saints 2, Panthers 3, because the Panthers did like a paint video where the teammates were painting their fellow teammates. It was funny for like a few seconds, then it kind of got a little boring unless you're a Panthers fan. I also appreciate the Saints media team. They get really deep into their bag when they do their schedule reveal videos, and they do skits actually. Like the Saints have done skits, I believe, they did it the past 2 years. The year before that, they did Pictionary with Juvenile and Chopper. But they get real creative, and I appreciate the Saints media team and the work they put in with their schedule reveals. Early on, I want to say I think I like last year's Saints schedule reveal video better than this year's, but I did think this year they had a pretty good Derek Carr joke in their schedule reveal video. Like they had Derek Carr make a very, you know, ubiquitous. Now, what's the word? Oblivious. That's the word. There we go. Oblivious thing where he was like, you know, they were doing a joke about hiring a new social media intern to put out the schedule, and they interviewed Drew Brees and Dustin Poirier and some other locals, and then they got to Derek Carr, and Derek Carr was like, "Yeah, I can do it because I know everybody on Twitter loves me," which is obviously a dig at the fact that Twitter freaking hates Derek Carr. So I thought that was cool. I thought that one, it was cool that Derek Carr is willing to be the butt of a joke, but two, that the Saints official franchise is willing to like say, yeah, we know that y'all don't like Derek Carr, so we're going to kind of poke fun of it. That's the pettiness that I love from our social media team, I guess. But I put out my own schedule reveal video that is on my YouTube right now if you haven't seen it yet. I can't play it on this show because they're going to copyright strike me, and I'm not trying to get 2 copyright strikes in one day. But all I did was just take all of our opponents, and again, shout out to John Hendricks by putting out the schedule at 12 p.m. today. I was able to get the schedule early so that I could make this type of video in order. And I just put like what song reminded me of each team that we were playing this season. And there's actually been a big hit on Twitter right now. Like I'm constantly getting notifications on Twitter like every 2 minutes. People retweeting it, loving it, and I appreciate that. That was actually one of my better works. That schedule reveal video that I made. I actually made that. I'm not to poke my chest out, but I'm a little impressed with myself. Like I took an early shower because I did an early workout today, and a thought just came in my head. Like, hey man, what if I did a video where I was like a schedule video where I just did a song to each team, like a funny song, right? Like if you watch the video, you'll see the songs that I have with certain teams. And I only had like a 2-3 hour window to create the video because I still has, you know, my 9-to-5 work obligations and my life obligations. So I made that video by the skin of my teeth, and I got it out there, and it's a hit. And sometimes it's moments like that where I'm like, damn, my creativity is pretty good sometimes. And I could do that like on the fly and not like have to have weeks to prepare it. And I will say, I see there's a lot of people on Twitter saying, "Oh, Jono, your video is way better than the Saints video," and I'm not gonna engage in that because I think the work that the Saints media team did is real well. And I'm not trying to make it seem like I'm trying to compete with them in the day. I'm just trying to have fun with my own little brand of this shit more than the game. So check out that video, guys. The John O'Barnes Saints schedule release video. It's on YouTube, it's on Instagram, it's on Twitter and TikTok. Facebook is a little more critical with their copyright strikes. I don't know if I want to put it on Facebook. But so, like I say, man, it's a fun way to just have fun with football and our team in general. And it's a fun way to show why this shit is more than the game. So, speaking of being this shit is more than the game, y'all know what we do every week on the John O'Barnes Show. We show love to everybody who left a super chat the week prior. So, I want to give a special thanks to the following people for leaving a super chat on the prior edition to the John O'Barnes Show last Tuesday. And that was my dog, Brute Saint. That was Human Huey Freeman. That was Who Dat for Life, Chris. And that was Slim Joan Un. Thank you guys for leaving a super chat. And y'all know this shit more than a thanks. And I hope my homie Brute Saint is still in the chat right now because I really want to give him a special shout out because for the past month, he has left a super chat on every live stream that I've done. So, Bruce Saint, if you're still in the chat, I hope you know how much you are appreciated in the This Shit More Than a Game household. And thank you for all of your contributions and donations. Thank you to everybody, but a big thanks to Bruce Saint because he's been showing mad love with the super chats the past few weeks, and we really appreciate it. And every super chat that we get, I always tell you guys this, every super chat that we get, we simply turn it around and we invest right back into the show. So if you give $2.83, if you give $20.83, it's always appreciated. And we do it. We take the money or the donations and we try to elevate this show to heights unheard of. So thank you guys. This shit more than a thanks. Now, with the schedule being out, I'm sure a lot of you guys like me are taking your wife's credit card and wondering which games you want to go to. Well, guess what? Look at that. You see, Bruce, I was in Brute. I wish we had Ziggy on the show, but Ziggy couldn't do the show tonight. But there's your This Shit More Than the Game air horns, another $10. Like I say, man, y'all, Bruce Saint has been incredible. There's going to be a point, Bruce Saint, where I can do like, I don't know, maybe community type events. Like when I get like a huge audience, like, you know, some content creators, they get their community together or they'll do like an event at a restaurant or something. I would love to get to that point one day. And if I do, Bruce Saint, I really hope that you will be able to make it where we can all just, kick it, chat, have some food, and just shoot the shit. But getting to that point, it helps with super chats like that. So thank you, Bruce Saint. Honestly, Bruce Saint, you've been amazing, man. You are for sure. This Shit More Than the Game certified, Bruce Saint. Thank you, homie. Thank you. That means a lot to me, Bruce Saint. I hope you feel the love from virtually, from me to you. You deserve all your flowers, my man. You've been amazing. You know what? Maybe I'll just, since my wife is being so crazy today, maybe I'll just take that $10 and put it in my Kansas City and Dallas fund, and I'll go travel. And you see, sometimes y'all, maybe I'll start like a fundraising stream one night, and y'all could pay me. It sounds so egotistical. Y'all could pay me though to go to Kansas City and Dallas. Because look, in return, I will give you guys great content. Like we're gonna give you guys content when we go to Kansas City. Y'all know that. Like we're gonna give you guys content when we go to Dallas. Like I love these mini vacations, if you want to call it, when I go see my Saints play on the road. But I always joke with my wife that it's a business trip too. Like we go out there to film content to entertain you Saints fans and give you guys some cool, fun content. Maybe you find it funny, maybe you don't, but we try our best to entertain you guys. And we're definitely going to do that in Kansas City and in Dallas this year. Definitely in Dallas. Y'all know we're going to have a good time in Dallas. Hopefully we'll have the guy who I'm highlighting right now, Ziggy. I mean, Ziggy always talks all this shit. And I remember Sean called him out on this last December, but he always talks all this shit about how he's the most positive Saints fan. But I don't remember the last time Ziggy went out his way to go to a road game. That is an easy road game, right? Like that is an easy drive. It's an easy flight. Ziggy has no excuse to not go to that game. Like Evan can give him a free hotel by letting Ziggy stay at his house. I'm self-volunteering, Evan, for that, but there's no excuse. Like, Ziggy could come to that Dallas game. We're going to try to do some great content out there in Dallas this year, but we'll see. But I'm sure Ziggy going to get on the show and be like, oh, y'all negative. Well, we're the ones going to the road game. Ziggy, what about you? But Bruce Saint, again, thank you, man. That $10 means a lot. Again, every super chat that we get, we invest right back into the show. And if you guys are like me and you're traveling to the Saints game and you're getting your super chats or you're using your wife's credit card, you can also save $20 more. And here's how. And I can't believe you guys are still watching this crazy show. Because of that, you guys really deserve something special. Here's a gift just for you for being a fan. Are you going to a sports game or a concert or any major event? Well, buy your tickets from SeatGeek and use the promo code JONO at checkout and you can receive $20 off your purchase over $50. That's $20 off your purchase. What are you waiting for? You know this shit more than a game, man. Use the code JONO at checkout if you're a first-time user, and you can save $20 if you go to any of the, not even just Saints games, but if you go to the goddamn Taylor Swift concert and you're spending $5,000 on that ticket, well, guess what? You can make it $4,580, $4,480, and save yourself $20. So use the code JONO when you buy a SeatGeek ticket. And I'm looking out for you guys. I see Raven Sports Media says, yeah, that's the real primetime matchup, right? Jono versus Evan in week 2. We're going to have a lot of fun prior to that game that week and definitely at that game. Hopefully Evan doesn't no-show that weekend. I'm trying to definitely – actually, if y'all look at the schedule, look at it. It's a perfect schedule for the Jono Barnes brand this year. We got the Cowboys in week 2, and we got the Rams on December 1st in week 13. So we got the Cowboys and the Rams. So we have a chance to do a victory lap on Sean and Evan this season. Now, I usually know how this script goes. I'm pretty sure at least one of the two are going to get the win on us and talk their shit. But when this shit is more than a game, you always take your chances. And I ain't afraid to play Russian roulette. So I'm looking forward to that Cowboys game. And I'm looking forward to that Rams game. And I know you guys are going to bring the heat those 2 weeks. So I promise you guys in return, I, with my content, am definitely going to bring the heat right back. We're going to have a good time. It's going to be a fun season, y'all. It's going to be an absolutely fun season. Yeah, so thank you guys for joining. It was a late show. Sorry, life got in the way a little bit. Actually, I had a full ensemble cast with the whole crew, but because I had to go on so late, I do everybody's schedule off, and now nobody was able to make the show. So hopefully we'll get everybody back next week. In the dream world, one day I could pay these guys and say, y'all have to show up to work and not, week by week we do a injury report. Okay, Ziggy's probable this week. Evan is questionable. Sean is doubtful. Hopefully we get to a point one day where the show is so successful that it's required for everybody to be on the show. But I thank you guys for joining me so late. We usually go on at 6:45. We had to do it 2 hours later because I had to do some work responsibilities. But I'm sure you guys had a great time tonight and you were able to watch some other Saints streamers. So I'm sure the reactions have been wild, but it's all fun, y'all. It is all fun. And that is because this shit is more than a game. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. I look forward to seeing you guys at the Saints games this year, whether it be at the Superdome or whether you guys join me in Dallas or Kansas City, maybe even New York. No matter what, win or lose, we're going to let the world know it's shit more than a game. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next week.